After you have installed Visual Studio, you're going to want to launch it. And so I do have mine on my taskbar, but if you don't, you will click on the Find and key in Visual Studio. And then once you see that, you can select it. And then you're going to want to kind of scroll down over here and select Create a New Project. For your language, you're going to choose C#. And it is a console application, and you're going to choose console app right here. You probably aren't going to see it under recent project templates because you haven't done it before. So you will see it over here though. So choose console app, and you may have to scroll down. It might not be at the top. Click on next. And then you have to give your project a name. And the location of these projects, it's on your C drive, under users and your username, under source and under repos. This is where the projects are going to go. And if you want to use this with codeasy, I would just create one called codeasy. And .NET 6 is correct, so click create. And then when you are working on your codeasy exercises, like this one, you can press Control A, and that will copy everything, or highlight everything, I should say, and then Control and the letter C, copies. And then you come back over here to Visual Studio, Control A to highlight, Control V as in Victor to paste. Okay. And if you have a wide enough monitor, you may want to do these side by side. And let's see, where is that exercise? All right, so it's saying create an array of 5 integers. Don't fill the array with any values. Output the default values of every cell to the console. Each on a new line. Okay. So they want an integer array. Okay, ints is fine. So when Visual Studio makes a suggestion, it does it kind of dimmed like this. And if you want to accept the suggestion, you press tab. And then it's got an equal sign. And then some of this is not what I wanted, right? So I can backspace over because I really wanted it to do new, int, and 5. I'll put the default values to the console. So I would assume that that is this. All right, so that looks fine the way it is. So I'm going to press tab. Curly brace, console. And you can see that it filled the rest in for me and it did it correctly. Ints is the name of my array. And that would be default values, which are zeros. All right, so let's copy this over here, Control A and Control V. And let's run that. Yay. So personally, I think it's easier to do it this way, especially if you have an error. So let me make an error over here. So now the name of my array does not match. And you can see immediately wherever I had referenced that array, I have an error. That's what the red squiggle is. So even before running this program, I know I have a problem, and I can put my mouse over it and it says the name ints does not exist. So that means there's a declaration problem, right? So that goes back to where you declared the variable. But if I did a capital INTS, I'm going to have the same problem because capital I is different than lowercase. So I still have the name ints does not exist. The only way I resolve the error is to spell it correctly. Okay, so this is something that you can just kind of keep open and then go to your next one and do the same thing. Control A, Control C, then you come in here, Control A, Control V, and scroll up, read the directions, and code it. And I do think that it is easier to problem solve in here. So I think this is the solution. But let me make a couple errors. All right, so I've made a couple errors. Now when I run it, it's going to say I've build errors. So I'm going to say, no, I don't want to run from the last successful build. And then I can see the errors here. And the nice thing about it is as you fix the errors, they go away. So it says cannot implicitly convert type int bracket to int. So there's a bit of a mismatch here. I've got int bracket and I don't have brackets over here. So if I put in the brackets, give it a minute, that error goes away. And then it's saying W does not exist. All the W's down here are flagged. And usually that is a declaration issue. And lo and behold, I did not declare this. I did not give the data type. When I give the data type, the errors go away. Now this is a warning. Okay, so this is not an error. It's just a warning that it could be a problem. Okay, but it will run with a warning. It will not run with an error. And let's see, we have to give it a number. Okay, so I would copy and paste the code into codeasy and run it. So that's how you can use this with your codeasy exercises. With the lab assignments, I think you'll also find it a little easier. And most of them, I let you pick the name for the assignment, but they're all going to be the console apps, C#. And, you know, one way to name these programs would be to do the assignment or the lesson. So this is assignment 8, exercise 1. Okay, and then you'd click next, long-term support, .NET 6, hit create. For this particular one, I already know I have this, so I'm just going to put like 1A here. What I would do, since I'm giving you some starting, like a starting place here or an example, is copy this, Control A, Control V, paste, and then go ahead and run it and see how it runs. Okay, and then go through the directions. In the video, which is up here, I do walk through the code and explain to you what it is doing. So if you don't understand what the code is doing, make sure you watch the video. Now, what happens if you have, you know, done a project and you need to reopen it? You can reopen from inside Visual Studio. You just need to close the current solution. And then you're going to want to open a project or a solution. And then you just find the one you want to open. So if I wanted to open codeasy, I would open that folder by double clicking, and then it is the solution file, the SLN, that you need to open. Okay, so to close, it's just file and close solution. Okay, to open another one, it's file and open. You can choose project solution, find the one that you want, and open up the solution file. And I do think you will find that it is much easier to do all of the coding exercises in Visual Studio.